All right, we got Mintify in the house. You guys good to go?
I'm good whenever you are.
Welcome. This is Jake, right? From Mintify.
It is. It is. How's it going?
Good to connect again. Yeah, you guys are deployed on Hyperliquid. Do you guys want to give a little kind of recap of your experience in crypto and then what you guys have been working on?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Jake, COO over at Mintify. In crypto, since like late 2017, came in at a perfect time to see Bitcoin crash and burn down from 6K like 6K to like mid 3K. Everything was ending and then, absolutely mooning back to, 69K. Went through all that. Definitely have seen a couple market cycles now. Came into NFTs in what? Let me backtrack a little bit. My history is lots of data and analytics. Before I was doing Mintify, doing stuff in Mint, I was trading and doing a lot of research and trading with stocks. Then I found Bitcoin. Things got a lot more exciting. Stock market moves like a couple percent a day. Bitcoin can swing, 10, 15% on like, a pretty much normal day. So much more fun, much more, many more things to do. Definitely, definitely loved that intro into crypto, especially from like the history that I had before that already trading. And then I got into NFTs, late 2021, another perfect time to enter right before the start of the bear market for NFTs, when things, pretty much went from, multi-million dollars in, tens to, hundreds of millions of dollars, I think in some cases in volume a day, in NFTs. And then everything just like completely collapsed. And I came in right as that collapse was happening. Definitely bought a few too many tops, but that's okay. Learn my lesson and we move on and keep on pushing. But yeah, so not too long after that, I found Mintify. I actually came in as a community member. This was like early 2022 when I found Mintify. Joined as an analyst. And I was an analyst for just like 3 or 4 months or so before I very quickly took on a lot more responsibility. I'm always very happy to jump into, one, a small team, but two, even more importantly, a team where they're building out a product that I really believe in that aligns with, where I think the space is headed, the kinds of tools that I can, not only do I think that people are really asking for. So it was great to jump in and, show that I can take a lot more responsibility than being an analyst and, being a small team. It was quite rapid to, really, really climb up the responsibility ladder. So very, very happy to have, really pushed for that at Mintify. Even happier to continue taking on more responsibility, but that's another conversation. So yeah, came in from analyst, now COO at Mintify, handling lots of different things. It's higher level stuff, whether it's community management, whether it's social media management, copywriting for posts, BD with teams and projects, managing our launch pad, building out new products, optimizing finding engineers. It really is wearing many hats, and I'm not the only one. We have a small team. We're just 13 people right now doing the work of what people, including our investors, feel like is like 50 people doing the work. So definitely have always had an incredible response from our community, from our investors. That we really we keep on pushing. If you check out our Discord, you'll see there's like sometimes like 3 or 4 product updates a week. But yeah, not going to keep on ranting. That's the history of me. Kind of a little bit where Mintify came from. It was a much simpler product when we first launched. We took a lot of inspiration from things that at the time NFT analytics platforms were missing. So at the time when Mintify came about, it was like icy tools. It was like that whole era. And we really felt that there was a lot more to be had on the NFT analytics side of things. And we quickly, continue to, update our developments, push out new things in terms of analytical functionality for NFTs. So where you see Mintify today, we have all of those analytics. The product for NFTs is modular. So you can mix and match and swap in and out modules to your terminal interface. You can view things like, unique holders. You can compare collections. You can view the order book. You bid spreads. You can use trading view charts and fill it up with all of your modules. I believe we are also going to be adding support for custom trading view modules. So if you have like one that you bought access to on your trading view account, I believe you will actually be able to use those for NFTs on Mintify and tokens too, while we're at it. So that's a pretty damn cool feature. I know I personally have some custom indicators that I use for like trading crypto that could be like a serious game changer to be able to use the NFTs. So that'll be neat. But yeah, the evolution of Mintify has really been pretty expansive. Started off as just analytics for NFTs, moved into trading NFTs, aggregating NFTs. Now we support listings and native orders as well as aggregate all of the other major markets. So coming to NFT for Mintify for NFTs, you're going to be getting pretty much the best spreads and prices for everything. Now we do need to add that for Hyperliquid, so keep an eye out. Definitely going to be creating the best experience possible for Hyperliquid users. We also have some other neat stuff that we're working on for Hyperliquid, but I can't leak that right now. On top of NFTs, and I promise you this product rant is about to end. On top of NFTs, you can also trade tokens on Mintify. You could trade these cross-chain. So it's token-to-token swaps. That means you can go from a base meme coin or even a Solana meme coin to Hyperliquid ETH or Hype or some Hype meme coin that have established liquidity pools all in one transaction. So you don't need to go from Solana meme coin, swap it to Solana, bridge your Solana to ETH, move that to Hyper EVM. You can just go straight from that Solana meme coin right to Hyper EVM meme coins. That's a pretty neat feature. And then the final thing on top of that is you can actually use Hyper EVM tokens like Hype to other chain NFTs on Mintify and vice versa. So like if you have a Hypio that you want to buy, but you only have mainnet ETH, you can go and complete that from Mintify, in mainnet ETH and vice versa for other NFT collections with Hyper EVM currencies. That's it. That's the rant. That's a pretty broad.
Good round. It was a good rant.
Thank you. That's a pretty broad, explainer of like all the things that you could do on Mintify now. There, believe it or not, there's even more than that. But if you're a token trader, if you're an NFT trader, if you're doing both, it's kind of like the perfect place for you to be because you can do everything cross chain, and the experience for that is only going to get better. For instance, we are launching chain abstracted accounts, so you'll be able to go onto Midnight Deposit any type of currency into your Mintify account and use that across any other chain. It's also going to be able you will be able to sign into other applications too. So like your liquidity will not be isolated to Mintify. You could take that liquidity and put it into other apps as well. But yeah, that's a nice high level thing. As we go out throughout this, I'll probably have more stuff, but yeah, it's got everything you need. If it doesn't, it probably will quite soon.
No, it's awesome. And I think you got to have the COO of projects come on more because it makes my life very easy. But I've hit through my first 5-6 questions right there.
I will do that.
It was great. I wanted to touch on the chain abstraction, which I think is a really cool thing where it's like it works. If you have base ETH, it sounds like you can buy Hypio. What you're saying, if you have Pepe on ETH, you can sweep some NFTs for on Hyperliquid. And then you guys are eventually going to integrate aggregating all the marketplaces, is what you said?
Yeah, I believe so. Maybe not all top marketplaces where there's actually liquidity on them. Like I think Drip Trade has a bunch of liquidity on it. I believe your guys, the Hypio community marketplace, I believe it's
the liquid loot one. Yeah, they've been doing well too.
Exactly, top marketplaces. Yeah, it's definitely as much as Mintify would for the benefit of not just Mintify but also the users want to grow our market share and not necessarily aggregate. It definitely creates a better experience for users being able to tap into liquidity across all markets, having the lowest listing prices and the highest bid prices available. But it, for instance, it actually is a big benefit to Hyperliquid users to be using Mintify and list your NFTs on it because we charge, I believe, the lowest fees on the market, just 0.5% for fees. Where I'm not sure what Liquid Loot uses, but I believe Drip and no
0.75 for Liquid Loot if you have a Hypio, 1 if you don't, and then 2 for Drip Trade. So yeah, lowest.
Okay. Yeah. So 0.5% fees. And then all of the functionality that I went through before, deep analytics, cross-chain trading, all of that stuff. But yeah, definitely do keep an eye out. When we do launch aggregated liquidity for Hyperliquid, we will absolutely be announcing that.
Awesome. And I know we're going to do a key giveaway. Why don't we do that at the end?
Yeah.
But do you want to talk a little bit about what the keys do and how that works? I know also, I don't know if this is related to it, but I know you also have done some interesting stuff. Like, I think you guys bought out an alpha group or a research group. That was you guys, right? I don't know if you want to talk about what you guys are doing there and why you're doing that. It's really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I could touch on both. So about 4.5 months ago, Mintify acquired eCollective, a top crypto NFT alpha group. They're absolutely incredible. There's definitely a bunch of lead up to it, but to keep things super concise and to the point, we worked with eCollective pretty closely for several months, probably about a year, honestly. We initially collabed with them and gave mutual access to our Discord servers for holding each of our corresponding NFTs. And both communities were loving it. The team is incredible over there. Everything we wanted to do with them was super, super easy. So we figured we might as well, it can't hurt to kick it up to the next level and bring our communities closer. So Mintify did acquire eCollective. We merged our Discord servers. So the eCollective, now Mintify Trading, is inside of Mintify. You can go ahead and verify your the existing Elevate passes and access to what was ETH and is now Mintify Trading in the Mintify Discord. So that's that. What we're definitely have a lot planned there. In fact, that happened. We've introduced a lot more like utility and functionality inside of our Discord. We've got a bunch of different alpha callers with their own channels. There are different pings for raising awareness and organizing things better. We have a couple different bot integrations that kind of like, spotlights new accounts, whether maybe there's like a notable Twitter account and they follow somebody else, it will ping the community and give them like that early information. And we also have some other stuff as well. Like whenever people share a contract address in our Discord, it automatically populates the Mintify swap link with a bunch of different KPIs so that you can, get easy, quick access to not only the data, but the actual link on Mintify to go ahead and do that swap. And there's even more. I mean, we have a whole list of stuff that we're, doing to work with the former Mintify trading team and so much more.
So the goal is to become like a kind of a real traders hub and like just
Exactly.
power up everybody who wants to trade NFTs.
Exactly, for NFTs, for tokens, even, I mean, we've got people that chat about like trading futures and even stocks and whatnot as well. Like people were, there was a conversation, I think last week, EME, and it did have to do with like their Bitcoin, that recent announcement they had with the Bitcoin treasury. But still, I mean, it's a pretty diverse group of people. And typically you'll have like feedback on anything that, you're looking to chat with people about. But yeah, that was a big goal of ours. Which is still ongoing, is to, continue to improve that, make it the place that people want to go to, trade and have conversations and talk about, learn about the markets and stuff like that. We also do like bi-weekly town halls. I think we're going to start doing, some additional like educational material and resources as well. But yeah, that's the idea behind Mintify's acquisition of ETH. Great team, incredible community, and you can definitely expect more to come from that. Then more on the key side of things, the Mintify keys. Whenever we expand to a new chain, we launch a key collection on that chain. And what those keys do is they enable you to earn boosted XP on Mintify. XP is our protocol rewards that at the end of every season, users can convert their XP to the Mint token, which is from the Mintify Foundation. It is the ecosystem token of Mintify, and kind of embedded into lots of different parts of the product, and will continue to be as we introduce new products in the future. The Mintify Foundation wants to ensure that it's intertwined very organically with everything we're doing. Doesn't feel like it's not like a burden to go ahead and use it, whereas there is like tangible value in doing it. Like you unlock something that provides value to your life in crypto. So that's that's the idea behind that. What the keys do specifically is they boost your XP. So if you're holding Hyperliquid keys, and we will do a giveaway for a bunch of them at the end of this, is whenever you're trading Hyperliquid tokens or NFTs on Mintify while holding those keys, it increases your XP by, I think it's like 1%, I believe, for every that you hold, and they're dumb cheap right now. So if you're trading and whatnot on Mintify on Hyperliquid, just makes sense to have it. Not financial advice. I do hold a bunch. I did sweep a bunch after as well. Again, not financial advice. That's from me personally, not by count. But yeah, so that's those are that's the utility for the keys. Boost your XP everywhere, and you can claim Mint from your XP at the end of the season. The season does end in September, so what, about a month and a half, 2 months left, give or take. Depends when that final date is. And you can also stake Mint. That the staking season also ends at the same time at the end of the season. People that stake claim their rewards when the season ends. People that withdraw early, they get their initial stake balance back, but they forfeit their rewards, and those rewards are redistributed to active stakers. So that's how that works. And there's a whole bunch with the token as well. I don't need to go unless you want me to talk about it. I'm not going to go through a whole deep dive, but there was
No, whatever you want to talk about, man. Just like your chance to kind of help people understand, But there's definitely some stuff I want to talk to you about NFTs, but we're only 15 minutes in, so whatever you want to talk about, that all means.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the Mint token is, as I said, definitely integrated very organically into the ecosystem, offering things like product discounts, enabling you to do things in the future, like upgrading your key metadata. We're doing that with our Genesis keys, as well as I believe our Bitcoin keys, which is something that we have, ordinal keys. And we want to, effectively, when we do this, it's going to allow the ordinals themselves to be kind of programmatic. It'll be interesting that not too many different collections have done on Bitcoin itself. But this is a Hyperliquid conversation. So yeah, definitely check out our Hyperliquid keys. The ETH Genesis keys do get you access to all of our future keys. That's the only collection that we always give either an airdrop or a claim to. So if you're interested in that, you can check Genesis keys. And I guess the last thing that I'll mention, at least off the top of my head, is just what was it, on Friday we launched our new rewards program. It is it's found on, what is it, rewards dot let me confirm the URL so I don't tell you that, rewards.mintify.com. And you'll see there's lots of simple quests, claiming points daily. There's things like holding certain tokens, engaging with us on socials, and more to be shared. We're going to be updating this very frequently. You're going to see lots of new quests all the time. And they're going to be really, really easy for you to complete. They're not going to be like, anything tedious and disruptive. And when we do things like, for instance, like, go and trade this much, there's always going to be different intervals for all different types of users. And if you're sibling, you will be removed. Do not civil. We are a great partner for this. That anybody that is found to have civil wallets, they'll be disqualified. You can link multiple wallets your one profile, so definitely opt to link rather than sign up with individual wallets. But yeah, keep an eye on that. I'm sure we're gonna have many more announcements that come from that, and everything else that we're doing.
I see. Yeah, so I have a couple different questions. More of you've hit all the bases, about Mintify itself. I think you answered most of those questions. So we'll jump into more abstract stuff and about Mintify and like your philosophy on what you're building. The first part, it would be like, why are you on Hyperliquid now? What do you think about it? Do you just see it as like another chain that you guys are deploying on? Is there a specific reason that you're here, that you're excited about doing that specific Hyperliquid, or is it just about getting on all the UVMs, which is also valid?
It's definitely, it's leaning more on the latter, but it is a mixture of both. So to answer them both, Mintify sees itself, being on every chain that there is demand for. That's the first thing. The second thing is how Hyperliquid kind of differentiates itself. We definitely see Hyperliquid as like, a powerhouse and, continuing to grow powerhouse, that is, in terms of supporting these more, I don't know if I would say institutional, because it's kind of like democratizing institutional access to certain things, but the more power user focused kind of ecosystems, like Hyperliquid's its exchange itself is for kind of anybody in crypto to be able to do that centralized exchanges offer, with great liquidity, super fast, very cheap, and we see that becoming a much more adopted ecosystem. You know what I mean? So not only do we support right now the NFTs in Hyperliquid, but we do have quite a bit more plans for specific Hyperliquid functionality that is not necessarily shared across other chains because of the unique infrastructure, I guess you could say, that Hyperliquid uses. How they have both Hyper EVM as well as their Hyperliquid L1. There's only so much that I can give away.
Yeah, no problem. But it's also, you guys are not just focused on NFTs, which I think is smart, because you guys lived through the time when nobody wanted to buy NFT, and even now it's a little bit weaker. But you guys are also focused on tokens, and there's a lot to do with tokens on Hyperliquid.
Exactly. Yeah. So I can say it's a mixture of the two things. As I said, one, Mintify wants to be everywhere where there is demand, but more specifically, two, that we definitely see a differentiation in terms of what Hyperliquid is bringing to the table for us than a lot of other chains, and that implicates how Mintify sees itself on Hyperliquid. There are other things that we could do on Hyperliquid that would have a bigger impact on Hyperliquid than they would have on other chains, because of kind of the positioning that Hyperliquid itself has. So I think that answers the question with as much specifics as I can at this time.
Yeah, no problem. We just actually had 2 marketplaces in like a span of a few days a week ago, like before this past week. So one of the things I was asking that I think is really interesting, and as somebody who's been through it all, is like, what NFTs do you like? Like, what turns you on about NFTs? How do you view NFTs as a primitive? You know what I mean? Like, well, what is it that excites you about NFTs as a primitive?
Yeah, this is actually probably something that I normally would have touched on but for whatever reason, I just forgot. Specifically for like my opinion, NFTs. I mean, I came on to NFTs being a physical memorabilia collector. So I might have told you about this in our call, but way before I was in NFTs, I was collecting lots of music memorabilia, and a lot of it rare, things that are exclusive, things that are no longer printed, and they're completely out of print. It's very difficult to get your hands on some of these things. So jumped into NFTs already fully understanding how the dynamics of it work. Of course, had to understand the tech and everything like that, but it makes perfect sense to me, and it virtually instantly made sense. that, all of these different things that are, filling up my closet can be stored in my wallet and traded instantly on chain rather than me having to go to Facebook Marketplace and putting it on eBay to sell these things. In fact, after I got into NFTs, I started to look into, and a few of these do exist, like white label solutions that'll come in and, pick up your physical collectibles, vault them for you in like, climate controlled, secure vaults, and then tokenize them so that you can effectively treat your physical collectible like it is a digital collectible.
I think Courtyard is doing some of the most volume of NFTs period, right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know Courtyard, but I don't know. Do you want to explain what Courtyard is? I'm happy to.
Yeah, I mean, I am aware that what they do, and I believe they're on Polygon, is they purchase trading cards and they tokenize them so that people can go ahead and trade them on chain, and then you burn and redeem. I believe.
Yeah, they've got, I think it's Brinks or something as a third party. Yeah. So it's super cool. Yeah. But what NFTs do you like? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No worries at all. What NFTs do I like? I mean, there's tons of NFTs that I like right now in this market. I'm not sure how many I'm buying. If Hypio, if Hypio weren't so goddamn expensive, excuse my language. If Hypio weren't so expensive, I would have a Hypio PFP right now, probably. As you can see, I completely bought the Pico top of OMB, so there goes that. But
OMBs are cool. OMB is one of the cooler ones, I think.
Thank you. Oh yeah, I realize I'm not here in my personal account, so you don't see my PFP. My PFP is an OMB, but as I said, definitely bought the top of that. So there's that.
We got a bunch of Hypios who have Hypio. I think even Demis in the space now. A bunch of Hypios have their Hypio PFP, but the OMBIs. We got a bunch of OMB guys that might be now.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. We actually have a whole bunch of Hypios in the Mintify community as well. So absolutely love that. But other NFTs, I mean, of course, Pudgies. I was lucky and I picked up a little Pudgy when they were at like a 0.3 floor price. And I've just been holding on to that. Unfortunately, didn't get a big Pudgy while they were still, sub 1 ETH, but I'll take it. Other NFTs, I mean, there's so many. I definitely have a big collection of Nyan Cat. It's Neon or Nyan. I don't know. Correct me if you.
I thought it was Neon Cat, but I don't know. I have no idea.
All right, maybe both of mine are wrong and it's Neon. I don't. Whatever. Chris is an awesome guy though. I always do those burn to redeem like the fancy neon balloon Nyan balloons. Always love whenever he pushes out another collection, and honestly almost kind of like here. Oh no, you don't like it, Empress. I'm sorry. I personally really love them. I always love the different cats. I collect them because I really like the artwork and I like where they come from. I'm not terribly focused on like the secondary value. The value probably does like pump and dump every time they do that though, but that's to be expected.
Yeah. Empress always has lots of opinions. She's a big MFers fan. What do you think about MFers and like Milady and all that stuff?
Oh well, I mean it's hard to say that they're not culturally significant. I don't personally hold them. I wish I did when they were still low. But no, completely. I mean, both MFers and Milady are very culturally significant. I mean, you can see that because of how many derivatives are spun off from both of those collections. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what we're from. And I think, that's what we try to, I think between MFers and like peak D gods and, like when they're really the best in that first year or whatever. And then Milady obviously is where our whole team is from. So I love that side of this.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I mean, it's incredibly powerful. It's insane the kind of like Milady effect that has on different chains. Like you always can kind of expect a I don't know if they really like certify them as like or like show support behind them, but the community shows up and supports, and those like you see them kind of spin up on lots of different chains, Milady communities.
Yeah, there's they definitely don't support it, which is like because they're just like I mean, well, I wouldn't support a Hypio derivative really. I mean, Hyper Ricardo is a fun one, but like it's not really in your interest to be supporting this other stuff. But I think what they do, which is very smart, and like we're a great example of it, is they let it happen with their kind of relinquishing of the IP rights. And then what it does is like there's so many people in our community that would never have been in Milady at all or adjacent to it, that it just kind of grows the awareness. And I do think over a long period of time, it's going to come back to that.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, what does it come down to? I mean, sure, when someone buys like a Milady derivative, it doesn't impact the floor price of Milady's directly, but that's just another head count of somebody that's repping Milady's always. At the end of the day, whether it's a derivative or an actual Milady, it's still furthering the Milady's kind of like brand and whatnot. And they're so recognizable. Like Hypios have a completely distinct and like super unique aesthetic to them. But if you're in NFTs, that it's I wouldn't say affiliated, but related to like Milady's. Which is nice that like there's like it's interesting how that branding can be extrapolated into different variants while still have that I guess subconscious cue of where
It's a
I don't
template,
know.
it's a template. Like, there's a lot of projects that use the template very poorly. You still have to be discerning. You know what I mean? Like even after we've launched, they're not really derivatives of us in terms of obviously like they're from what we're derivative of, but they're trying to do the same thing as us, which is like, max, you have a chain. We've seen it in like 10 of these already. And, it really depends on the team and the execution, but it does prime the market for sort of like understanding like, no, this isn't going to be like some like anime TV show pitch or something. You know what I mean? Like you bring that education that you already have from knowing what Milady and Amelia community is like.
Yeah, it's, like you said, it's actually really, it's funny. It's not like a good kind of funny. That after Hypio started getting like all those airdrops, now you see people like, this is the Hypio of this chain.
Yeah, no, we see all the time, and I definitely take umbrage with it because, like, one, I think it's silly, and I think they're misleading a lot of people. The other part of it is like a huge part of Hypio is Hyperliquid. Like, so it's like if you do like no offense to Aptos, but like kind of some offense to like Aptos is always my example, or like Say or whatever. Like, sorry if you guys are on this chain, but you do Hypio or Aptos, and it's just not even with our team and our you know what I mean. Like, it's just not the same. Like, it's so much about Hyperliquid, So it's like, it's very silly to be like, oh, we're gonna get airdrops because we're on Abstract or something. Like, it's like, come on, it's not the same.
It does also tie into Liquid because of the culture and then how people use that how that psychology influences people's decision, on-chain decisions. You know what I mean? Definitely a big part of it. And for whatever reason, I don't know who started the line break Hyperliquid thing, but I think that actually like drives a lot of positive and unique kind of activity on Hyperliquid. It's a weird kind of thing, but it does feel like that.
But I think it comes from Remilio, actually, funnily enough.
Oh, true. Yes, true. That's funny. And so I guess Hypio kind of did you guys kind of start that, like the obviously Remilio has that, but did you start the Hyperliquid one?
Sorry, somebody was just asking me for a cigarette on the street. So we definitely didn't start it, but that signing off on tweets, it was Remilio's originally, and then I think Trading Axe, I don't know if you know that account.
Yeah.
Trading Axe started doing like Remilio. He would sign off with Remilio all the time, and then he had either was a real or was a fake DM with Andrew Tate, and he called him a retardio, and then he started signing off everything with retardio. That made the retardio coin. Then they made the retardio NFT, which obviously did extremely well. And then this sort of culture of like signing off with, as far as I know, that's sort of the etymology of it. And then the Hyperliquid sign off is great. I literally like we just dropped our first merch in our web shop like any day now, and that's one of our first shirts was like just Hyperliquid with a period on the front. And I just had a text this morning for somebody wearing one of the early ones from our events, and he's like, dude, a bunch of people asking me to where I got it, and one guy was like, I'm on Hyperliquid, like where do I get their life? No, that's great.
That's dope. Yeah, I love that there's like a lore even behind that. Somebody needs to put together one of those like string boards connecting all of the different developments of Hyperliquid.
You look like Pepe Silvio, the always sunning me with the guy spitting out on the law. Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, no, that's what I like. That's where I want. I'm glad the conversation went here because that's what I was talking about with NFTs. Is to me like, it's like it goes to what you're saying about how you really wouldn't buy many NFTs at the moment because I think that this mode that they were in, which was, IP and all of this stuff, really it's about cultural resonance. And I also think it has to do with identity online, specific to crypto, where it's like nobody is wanting to share their docs necessarily, and they need some picture that's not their face. If you go through a whole space, nobody has their face. There's one guy from India, I guess, as a space. I just went through. And, so it serves as this identity and this cultural sort of organizing principle. And it's kind of funny that you guys, like, the way that you built your project, it reminds me of an NFT project without the NFT. I mean, you have the keys, but you know what I mean? Like, you're doing the similar stuff that we're doing, which is like, we have guys posting news and pseudo alpha and all that stuff. It's really like, to me, it's like an organizing principle. And it's a thing that you organize under an image. And then the culture develops out from that. And I think that's the roots of Milady. And you see the Milady sort of tendrils underneath everything. And it's going to come back to like, there's only 10,000 Miladies, there's only 10,000 Remilios. And eventually those are going to be, they're already cultural artifacts. They're just not priced correctly, I suppose.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is a conversation I've had, or, a sect of a conversation that I've had like a couple times, even more recently. It's like, these 10,000 NFT collections, and by no means am I speaking like in short terms, but 10,000 NFTs is after a certain point, as long as the execution is done well, and the meme stays culturally significant, 10,000 NFTs is like nothing. You know what I mean? There's like a thousand times that of collectors in like just probably like the East Coast. Probably
Absolutely. No, we're at 5,500. And I've said, I remember during mint out, we had these memes of like the message. I posted the messages of what people were setting our mint because it stalled for like 45 minutes halfway through. They're like, cut the supply, mint the rest of Hyperliquid, do all this stuff. I was like, no, like 5,000 is actually perfect. You know what I mean? Like it's just enough where, as you've seen, like we're going to get to a good floor price. It's going to be somewhat accessible for people with real money. And you're going to have this strong critical mass. If you go down to 3,000, 2,000, it's actually quite difficult because people do want to hold 10 or 20 or 50 sometimes. There's only so many unique people you can get in. I think 5,500 is really a sweet spot in this current sort of malaise that NFTs have. And then once what you're saying happens, it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, completely agree. And like,
it's you know what I mean? Palladium or Emilio, there's 20K of them now, and then the derivatives are literally like 200K. So it's like that's a little bit of a problem, sure.
Yeah. I mean, and also on the even lower supply side, like around the 2 or 3K, like they'll let you go. That then will implicate the activity of the collection. So like for whatever reason, like I mean, I guess it's not for whatever reason. It's like it has to do with mechanics as well as psychology, I suppose. But when the collection supply is like smaller, you actually see like less activity.
Absolutely.
Low price, which is kind of strange. Like an interesting mechanic because like when there's less NFTs in the collection and the set is greater, price should be able to move easier. So you would think that people would want to get involved because price can go up faster, technically speaking. But it doesn't. It doesn't
work that way. We actually talk about this. I mean, we don't really talk about the other NFTs, I believe, because we're not here to advertise other NFTs. Yeah. But we paid very close attention to it. And one of the interesting ones is going to be the Cap Ball Mint, which is this OG team with great art, and they should be minting, any day now in theory. But they're doing like 1,800, and like I'm like, yeah, that's going to be. I think it's going to be a very well priced NFT. But yeah, the volume is probably going to be because of exactly what you're saying. It just doesn't get to hit that critical mass,
Yeah, no, it's interesting, and I would like to chat with like a Web3 psychologist, somebody that understands like very deeply how the brain works, and then
I think that's with exposure, man. I think like even at this level, we have people who hold 10, 20, 50 close to IPOs, you know what I mean? And like that's like $300,000 if they want, or more than that, and like they want that exposure. It's very hard to be, it's like it's this funny thing where we've said this example a few times. Like if you owe me $5,000, right, that's your problem. But if you owe me $500,000, that's your problem really. Like you have to, you know what I mean? Like you have to figure that out. Like that's
your big
yeah. So you're really invested. Like you're extremely exposed. Well, if the supply is very low, yeah, you could be very exposed on one. You know what I mean? If you have one IPO, it might be a huge part of your portfolio at like 3-4K, but there's a lot of people where that's not a significant part of their portfolio, and they need like, excuse my French, but they need like 10 or 20 to kind of get their dick up so that they can have like 40K in the collection, and then they really feel exposed to it, and they're not quite able to do it. So that's part of this. And then they'll let some go at a certain price, and they'll progressively start to distribute. But also as the price goes up, and then their exposure is still the same. So I think that's part of this phenomenon of like low supply collections. They really don't get much buy-in. You know what I mean? They don't get that investment because it's actually physically impossible to get that investment. You know what I mean? Like unless you're going to fuck yourself, like unless you're going to buy it up all the way up to like 5 times the original entry.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you can even to a degree, I mean, it's not so much for fungibles, but you can kind of extrapolate that to fungibles a little bit, or like to some degree with the unit bias. Yeah, no, that actually makes a lot of sense. So like, yeah, so the activity is lower because you actually you have more de-attracting people that want to scale in with size. So you, instead of having, whales and normal people in there, you just have, for the most part, holders and less whales. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I just think the amount of exposure that even if you're a normal person, it's harder to get 3 to 5. So, you know what I mean? If there's not enough. I think we're seeing it with the Supreme. Have you seen these? The abstract art version of the Pokemon? Have you seen this? It's like the new big thing.
Oh yes, the what do they call? What is it called?
I don't fucking know. Yeah. It's like they're at 151, and I think even somebody in the space. I don't know if they're here today, but one of our community members has one, and we all love it. But yeah, there's only 151 versus there's 151. They're gonna do another one, but then they're only gonna get to 300, and it's like, what, you do the whole thing, then you delete down to like lose the specialness of it. Like, good luck to them. I'm not trying to fun, but like, yeah, I mean, you don't get to create this like community where it's like, okay, there's literally like well over 1,000 active IPOs. You know what I mean? Like you can't have that.
Yeah, and even having a one and no shade or fuck to them, I actually really love the art. I wish I had
such great.
Yeah. No, I wish I had seen that it was minting because I totally would have minted for what was it, like 0.019 or something dumb cheap. Um, but yeah, like even so after achieving what I think they pumped up to like I'm just pulling it off Mintify. I think they pumped up to like 3 ETH at one
Oh yeah,
point, something like that.
they're like 1.5, I think, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, 1 3/4, 1.75. Yeah, they were above 4 ETH very briefly. But even with all of that, 350 ETH traded volume. So it's just hard to capture the volume with a low supply. But I guess, I think they're more on the art side of things.
Yeah, and that's a whole other conversation too. Absolutely.
Yeah. But no, I completely. I forget what were we talking about before? It just came back to mind though.
Culture NFTs, cultural NFTs. I think you want to say something about that. That kind of thing.
Um, no, that wasn't it. But I probably could say something there. I mean, well,
Go for it.
if you haven't noticed, when I'm provided with questions, I can usually just continue talking forever. But yeah, I mean, my perspective on NFTs, especially like culturally significant things, definitely aligns with meme coins. It's a little bit harder because these are less accessible, which is something that we are tackling at Mintify. As I mentioned before, we have our chain abstracted accounts that are coming soon. Any token to any NFT very easily across any chain. Also being able to sign in with your email and social accounts and create your wallet with those social accounts, as well as backing up that wallet with social accounts, and onboarding with like fiat. So being able to deposit direct to your wallet in any token, USDC, crypto on any chain, and being able to use fiat inside of the same interface. So it makes it very easy for Web3 people and normies to come in and do all the same stuff. I honestly don't. Why did I just start talking about that? My brain is all over the place. I was talking about cultural significance. That's what I was talking about. So definitely do believe that cultural significance is very important for the memeability of things. Like you see, it's ridiculous. Like you see memes at vastly higher market caps than like companies with revenue. You know what I mean? Like Pepe is at a $5 billion market cap, and it's a meme coin. You know what I mean? And that's obviously it's not nearly the only one that is just incredibly valuable, and all it is a meme. So 100 billion% believe that cultural significance and memetics are very important. And not like Ponzi memetics, like real memetics that drive emotion to people. That's like where
I'm with Buddy right now. I don't know if you know about the Buddy claim, but our community made that, and it's like it just so organically spawned into this thing that people say every day.
Yeah, well, but wasn't Buddy also one of the first airdrops that Hypio's got?
Yeah, definitely the significant.
Yeah, I remember that. But it's just, and yeah, in some cases, like a community, a powerful community like Hypios could take that away too. You know what I mean? Like Buddy itself has kind of like its own kind of element to cultural significance, and then Hypios leverages that even more to like it creates like a meme flywheel kind of.
No, it does, and it was a risk too because it was like I definitely heard people being like, why would I buy Hypio if I could buy Buddy? You know what I mean? But there's this understanding that there's a bigger pool to be made here, and also we're so early on Hyperliquid, and that's what I think is the sort of unseen upside of collections like ours and Milady and all that. Like all of us were in Milady, like I said, basically our entire team, the core team, were in Milady, and because of that, we all got to be in SPX under like $1 million from Mog, like you know what I mean? Because you were just around. You didn't get it airdropped, but you got it shield to you all the fucking time, and Pepe, you know what I mean? It was all from that group,
No, 100%. You know what's so sad though? I remember when the SPX NFTs minted, and I was like, what the hell is this? Like, what is this? And then nothing happened to it for like months. Like they were really loud and then they just went completely silent, or at least it wasn't really penetrating my social space.
SPX had a long time of figuring their shit out.
Right. And then all of a sudden the token like goes parabolic from like a 5 or 10 million market cap to like file instantly because of Murad. And then the NFTs go from like, I don't know, like 0.05 to an ETH like instantly. It was ridiculous. I remember I was like kicking myself. Like I should have seen just looking at this artwork that it will be, very likely be a meme at some point.
And the supply is right on them too, man. Dude, SPX it's like a forbidden word in like my group chat where it's like all of us got in so early and it was such a grueling, like we missed like the 30 mil top. We kind of like sold it and bought back and then it just kept going down and down and down. And for the entire Solana meme season, the first half of it, when I went to Deck Screener, it auto-filled to SPX. And I was so like annoyed with this fucking game. I'd see that chart every day just doing nothing. And it made me sell like most of my bag. And even like with what I had left, it ended up being like 20K. But it was like, oh my God, I was looking at this chart every day for Happy New Year. Like, all my friends are so upset about that coin because everybody did it. Like, everybody sold.
It's honestly really impressive how both rewarding and punishing holding can be. And then it screws with the psychology. You buy something and it instantly pumps to like 10 mil, and you bought in like, at 100K, and you're like, holy shit, I'm in all this profit. Do I take this profit, or am I going to be kicking myself later on when it goes to 100 million?
That's why you have to, it goes back to what we were talking about with the NFT exposure thing. And I think that's part of it, which is like, people need to have enough exposure where it's like, I want 10 Hypios because I want to be able to sell some on pumps, but have some, you know what I mean? And that's the unique thing about NFTs, but it's also the same with coins, where it's like, you're going to buy in. You should realistically, like, if you really like it, you should buy in a ton so that you can take it on profit and still be exposed, and not have this thing like 3 times more than you plan.
Completely. And that actually is like in line with my not financial advice. And again, not financial advice. I try to buy 3 of anything so that you can take your, you can realize your expense, you can take profit, and then you can hold a moon bag. Again, not financial advice. But that is what I try to do personally.
Not financial advice, but it is low key like the best financial advice you can give somebody to entering crypto. It's like just triple up. No, it's exactly my framework too. We had the last kind of 10 minutes here. I'd love to get some questions from people who want to talk and open it up a little bit. I know we got Emp here, and Emp's will always have something to say that we love to hear. And then in the last couple of minutes, we'll do the Mintify giveaway. And basically what we'll do is we'll tell you a keyword, and then you put it in the Discord channel. And then however many you have, you understand those people.
Sounds good. One thing I just want to say before we open up questions, you know how early we are to Hyperliquid? Their Labland and Matrica don't even support your NFTs yet. That's how early.
Oh, I know, because we literally had to build the TG infra and the Discord ourselves.
Oh, did you really?
We don't even have a TG right now. We literally just offer it now. Like, it's actually soft launch. I guess we're dropping it now, but yeah, it'll be accessible there now.
I think you'll be able to through Matrica soon. Just FYI. So that should introduce.
Don't tell me that, because then I just wasted like thousands of dollars. It's all good.
Like
no, it's all good. We got a custom bot that's going to be doing some cool stuff. So it's all good.
Better to use your own your own bots and whatnot, especially for display if it's going to be like actively maintained. But yeah, I mean, once that happens, like people aren't going to be like communities are going to be much easier for creators to spin up. They're not going to have to like hunt around and try and find solutions to enable that kind of thing. And I mean, Collabline and Matrica are on like, pretty much all of the biggest chains. So the fact that they're not on Hyperliquid yet really says that it is still incredibly early.
No, like there's so many of these little things where we didn't have the Rabby implementation. Now we've got the Rabby thing. It's like every couple, like if you come back a month, you see all this stuff grow and adjust and get better and better. And it's awesome. I just saw Psycho Kitty join. She got the EV, one of those Pokemon they were talking about. So I'm just giving her an invite. Feel free to come and talk about it. I don't know if you heard that we were talking about it. Actually showed it.
That EV is so cool. I'm just looking at it.
It's amazing. Awesome.
And because it's the little circle, you know what I mean, inside of the chat, and it looks like an EV. Like
it's amazing how he's captured. We worked so much on that for our collection, like trying to different, and to actually have it read as what you're trying to get it come across as is actually very hard. The fact that this guy can do it, like for every Pokemon, you can literally tell what it is.
It's incredible. It's like there's an element of like subconscious there, because it just registers so quickly. I don't really have to think about it.
Yeah, we got Kitty, we got Emp. I don't know if you guys have any questions, or Kitty, you're welcome to talk about why you like the Pokemon thing. I don't know if you heard, but we were talking about it for a good 10 minutes.
Yeah, hi, Hypio man, hi Mintify. Thank you so much for bringing me up. I actually missed the beginning of your space, so I didn't hear your talk about it. But yeah, this is a great project. I mean, obviously I love it. And he's actually working on Gen 2 right now, and that will be coming out next month. So if anybody's, and that's my honestly longtime Pokemon collector, love Pokemon, but Gen 2 is my favorite, right? I love
Same. Oh yeah.
If you want to get into the way he's doing it, there's only 100 in the next collection. There were 151 in this one. And the whitelist is going to be holders of Gen 1 will get a tick for each one that you hold for a raffle to get 50 whitelist spots. So it's kind of very exclusive. Even holders are not all going to get whitelists. But if you really want to get in for Gen 2, because these did really well, they minted for 0.019 ETH, and the floor has held to 2 ETH ever since then, and even higher at some points. I think the highest sale was 11 ETH for a Mew. But anyway, if you want to get in Gen 2, the floor is pretty thin, but it's below 2 ETH right now. It wouldn't be a bad play to grab one.
And the tickets are not out yet, is what you're saying.
Not yet. He's going to announce the metrics of how the mint's going to go, I think, tomorrow. And the next
be very interesting to see if it dumps or not, because I think people really like these, and there's so few, right?
What's interesting is he's been an artist. He's got projects on ETH and Bitcoin and all kinds of different projects. He's very talented, I think. Like you said, I think his work translates really well. And, any Pokemon collector is going to grab the ones they like. And so I feel like digital art, I feel like has a very strong or surviving long term on the blog, just because it solves so many problems for artists. I mean, you guys all understand.
Absolutely.
And it's Pokemon. I mean, it's Pokemon. Everybody loves Pokemon, right? So anyway, I mean, I have 6 of them, and I bought most of them on secondary. I grabbed the ones that I love, and I'm looking forward to getting some Gen 2s, hopefully. But anyway, it's a great project. The artist is he's French. He lives in Mexico. He's very well spoken, nice guy. I mean, his ethos reminds me a lot of you, Hypio Man, and how well he deals with his community. He's very articulate and engaging with the community. So and that's honestly, you've proven the success for projects hinges on that, and in my opinion, founders matter, and Hypio Man's a great testament to that. Obviously, you guys all know that. And anyway, thanks for bringing me up. But yeah, you guys should check it out. I highly recommend it. It's a little expensive, but I feel like it's art. So it sells the actual prints of the artwork. They're limited, I believe, to 5 each, so you can actually get a print of your NFT, and it's pretty cool. It's a cool little project. So anyway, thanks for letting me chill. Of course.
Yeah.
Good to
for the
see
kind
you.
words, Sal. I know it's great to have you back, and I'm glad we got somebody who really knows about it. We were legit talking about it for 10 minutes, and it was an interesting conversation.
Well, hopefully I didn't repeat anything. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. And it's great.
Thanks.
Yeah. Empy, do you have any questions? We're going to wrap this up in a couple of minutes, so hopefully we can speak.
Yeah, a couple things. One, I was dumbfounding because Chris told me, Nian. It was the pronunciation. I love the cats. He told me in his face, Nian. And you have to say it really like that, all animated. Nian. Yeah, multiple times. Very fun space. And then you did touch on it, but I'm not very bright sometimes. So for the first time ever, because I've been here forever, I thought I got a key because you guys are always doing things. What am I doing with this key? What do I do with it again?
Yeah, no problem. That key, as long as you're holding on to it in your wallet, when you're signed into Mintify, everything you're doing on Mintify and Hyperliquid gets bonus XP. So if you're trading NFTs, if you're trading tokens, every single one of those Hyperliquid keys that you hold increases your XP by a certain percentage.
And then the XP converts to mint to distribution, is what we're saying, right?
Exactly. And then at the end of every season, the XP can be converted to mint. If you choose not to, for whatever reason, your XP carries over to the next season, I believe.
Very cool. Well, thank you. I know you guys whitelisted us and a lot of other top collections on Hyperliquid, and we're glad you're here. And I'll give you a minute before we do the giveaway if there's anything else you want to say. But Mintify is live on Hyperliquid now, and soon integrating more and more stuff, as you've been saying. Just go on and check it out. But yeah, if you have anything you want to share before we do the giveaway, as the final parting.
I think we covered a lot, honestly. I think we covered pretty much all the really important things. I'll just reiterate a couple things, I guess. Mintify is, yes, live on Hyperliquid, HyperEVM. We do have more planned for the ecosystem, but you'll have to keep an eye out for our announcements. I'm not leaking anything just yet. What we already have right now is trading HyperEVM NFTs and many different HyperEVM tokens. I know I actually tried it, I believe, over the weekend. You can buy Buddy, for instance, cross-chain on Mintify. So I think I tried with base ETH to Buddy, if I recall correctly, and we have a route for that. So that's pretty neat. You can also go ahead and buy HyperEVM NFTs from other chain currencies as well.
Can you list, could I list Hypios in Buddy and not Buddy for my...
Not right now. We actually deployed a custom Mintify order book for HyperEVM. So this functionality is possible. It's just not, it's not enabled yet. So that'll be something.
And again, Buddy, Holy Liquid on there is the...
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm actually in chat with the Oily team, at least. I'm not sure about the Buddy team, but would definitely love to chat with them as well. And
yeah, we can get you guys in touch with them. Absolutely.
That'd be awesome. And then, yeah, so trade NFTs, trade tokens on Mintify, cross-chain, token to token, token to NFT. All that stuff is great and works.
So sell all your ETH for Hype right now on Mintify.
You can, listing and trading on Mintify has the lowest fees in the market. So instead of 2% at Drip or 0.7%, I believe you said, at Liquid Loot. And again, no shade, all great marketplaces. We're big at showing respect to other great builders in the space always. But Mintify is at 0.5%. So, definitely check that out. We have deep analytics for NFTs. So you can go and look at historical activity for Hypios and other HyperEVM NFTs. View holders, look at different wallets, trading.
You have your Discord too with info.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And you can check us out to learn more in our Discord or on our docs. Our Discord is, you can find the link to our website in our bio, and just scroll down and you'll see the official Discord link. We try not to put that all over the place just to minimize people, clicking on the wrong thing or whatever. So you can find that directly on our website. And we actually also have like Telegram channels. I believe that's linked in our Discord. But yeah, we're going to run a giveaway for Hyperliquid keys for people that are still here in the audience. We actually retain pretty much everybody. So Hyperliquid really is built different. Usually it falls by like 50% nearing towards the end. So great to see everybody still here. If there's anything,
and in the summer too, man. Summer, everybody's doing what they want to do. You get more when it's not like this. But yeah, no, this will be available also on the podcast. We just added YouTube now, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, so this will be there for posterity. And yeah, for the giveaway, how many keys do we have to give away today?
I don't know. We can give away a bunch. How's like 25 keys to 25 different people?
Okay, so if you're here, go to the Discord, and then there's a channel called, I'll tag it in the general chat right now. You guys can go, be ready. So it's called Mintify Giveaway.
But I hate Discord, and I want to whine about Discord, and I hate it.
It's okay. It's okay. They can whine and they can not get the giveaway. It's all right. And then you have to type Kitty in there. K-H-T-1. And the first 25 people who did it. If you're one of the first 25, just put in a ticket and say you were one of the first 25, and then we'll be good. So yeah, I think that wraps it up, right? We're excited at Mintify and another great team building on Hyperliquid.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Definitely. Thank you so much for, having me come by onto the podcast. I need to tune into more of your episodes, for sure. Keep an eye out for things, any types of, different developments that you're looking for from Mintify. I mean, always tons of stuff. If you ever have any feedback, feel free to like DM personally or join our Discord and let us know. My handle is lost for words I am, as if Yoda was saying that he's lost for words. Everything we've done on Mintify is built, pretty much from community feedback. So if you want something changed, updated, whatever it might be, let us know. Love all of you. Thank you so much again, Hypios, for having us on here, and more than happy to run this back again, in the near future.
Yeah, when you guys have something new dropping, it's basically not going to be an hour long. We can just do an update and look forward to seeing what you guys build on Hyperliquid. Thank you so much for coming. It's been a great space. I enjoyed the conversation and the people who asked us and talked too, and everybody who came. We'll see you guys next time.
Likewise. Sounds great. Thank you so much again, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.
Bye, guys.